So here is another question from Chuck Todd revealing his horribleness of as a journalist. And he was interviewing Bernie Sanders at the town hall earlier this week. And this is the great examples of how Chuck Todd has replaced objectivity with neutrality. We've explained what that is in other videos, but you can objectively state a truth like Trump's an unhinged maniac, but if you're neutral, you're like, I don't know if he is. I don't know, maybe. So here's another question Chuck Todd had for Bernie Sanders at the town hall.
And I know Marco Rubio and I know Ted Cruz. And
So he asks him, Chuck Todd had asked him, because Donald Trump made the assertion that Bernie Sanders supporters are the ones creating all the violence at Trump's hate rallies. And so here is Bernie Sanders' response to that ridiculous question from Chuck Todd. And watch Chuck Todd be baffled by the answer.
All these guys. But with Trump, what you are dealing with, and I say this without any joy, this guy's a pathological liar.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is
that's almost like.
What do you mean? What do you mean that he's a pathological? I don't know, Chuck. The fact that he lies all the time pathologically. The last man in America who doesn't understand what a pathological liar is. And he's hosting a news show. Isn't that awesome? What do you mean by that? That he's a pathological? I don't get it. When you say he's a pathological liar, I don't know. I mean, like he'll lie. He'll say two contradictory things in the same sentence. I got a video on my machine. I'm going to play in another video clip where they laugh about him on the Today Show because Donald Trump said one thing 1 minute and the exact opposite thing the next minute. The Today Show is noticing. Chuck Todd, what do you mean? What do you mean pathological? That's just the last man in America who doesn't understand that Donald Trump is an unhinged maniac, pathological liar. And our luck, he's the leading political reporter in the country.
That is probably the first time Chuck Todd in his entire career has heard someone actually say that guy's a liar.
That guy's a pathological liar.
Because
which Donald
everybody's
Trump
afraid
is.
to say someone's a liar. Everyone in Washington is afraid to say that guy's a liar, even if they are.
That breaks the rule.
And so you got to know, for someone to say that guy's a liar, he's a pretty big fucking liar.
Yes. That's why, I mean, Bernie Sanders just said, hey, I know Marco Rubio, I know Ted Cruz, I work with these guys, but Donald Trump is something different, right? And by the way, Ted Cruz and Rubio, huge liars also. But what Donald Trump does is bring it to a whole nother level, and politicians are not, news reporters are not allowed to call politicians liars because they'd be doing it all day long. But what Trump does is so beyond the pale, so astronomically different than what anybody else does. You got to call it out, and he won't. What do you want to say,
Well,
Hank?
if Chuck Todd didn't immediately push back on the pathological liar thing, he's threatening access because Trump has trained journalists to be afraid of losing access.
That's absolutely true.
Also, for some reason...
But he's completely undermined his credibility because you cannot, with a straight face, be a reporter and someone says he's a liar and go, wait a second, I don't understand what you mean. You cannot, with a straight face, say that and have any credibility. At that point, Chuck Todd is clearly either a lying scumbag himself or grossly incompetent.
I don't know what he's trying to pull off. What do you mean when you say these What do you... I don't know. I guess he's got to explain it because you, with unlimited access to an audience and the TV cameras... You don't have, I guess, the time or the compunction or the interest in explaining just what a maniac Donald Trump is to your audiences for what Robert just says because you don't want to lose access. And if you don't have access to Donald Trump, you're irrelevant as a political reporter, I guess. No, believe me, Donald Trump could not be happening without a complicit media. And I point my finger at CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS. I got a clip coming on from Dan Rather, who's not even, he's on some Mark Cuban channel. You can't believe the crazy crap he says nice about Donald Trump. So that's what's happening.
And that's the thing is they don't even realize they're doing it anymore.
They don't even realize they're doing it. And that's why people get their news from YouTube.